Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the Activision deal. We're going to talk about other news stories, but I was running late this morning, so I just kind of threw the template up there and threw the Activision thumbnail in there. Didn't have time to really look up a lot of news stories, so we're going to read the news about the Activision Blizzard. We read it last night, or I should say yesterday afternoon at the very tail end of the show. We're going to go back over that, talk about it just a little bit. We're going to get to people's reactions off of Twitter and whatnot. That's what we're doing this morning. And there's other stories that we'll get to, and actually random things as well, as we always talk about on this show. Do appreciate you coming out, hanging out with us in the mornings here at 30 NSG at 10 o'clock in the morning till about noon Eastern. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And then also make sure if you want to go above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. Go to chat here. We interact with chat every single day. Travis says, 30, I'm here from ready to leave and like. What's going on, my liege? Travis also says, Microsoft won the case. Some tell Clarence Creedwater he's on the 5 song he needs to be playing being Bad Moon Rising. Jesse Mack says, good morning. What's going on, Jesse Mack? What's going on, Sarge? Water? Blizzard is trash. Activision is trash. Xbox is trash. Sony is trash. Happy Wednesday. Which is my Friday. Oh, well. Nice. Sarge asks, are you okay, Water? What's going on, boss? That's funny. All right, so let's read this. Actually, before we get to the Activision thing, I have a question, right? We had this story, and I'm a little confused by it because I posted it myself yesterday, and then I read through it because I just saw the title. And I was like, oh, I'll talk about that yesterday, and I read about it this morning, right? Am I hallucinating? Because I'm pretty sure Rod Ferguson himself, during one of the live streams, talked about a rebirth character for Diablo 4, right? And they said that you'll have a rebirth character, and then you'll just put it into the season, but they'll start at level 1. Did they not say that? I could have sworn that was on one of the live streams. I didn't make it up. Hell, I didn't even play Diablo 3 to make it up because I didn't even know about it, right? I didn't even know about a rebirth character because I didn't play Diablo 3. So I'm very confused by this. No, Travis. What I do when I see news stories, submitted news stories are things that I don't have time. I'll just throw them in there, and then I'll go back and read it later, right? So when it's submitted into the Discord, doesn't mean I read it. I just saw the title and okay, then and I throw it in there. Then I go through the process of eliminating it, right? So it goes there, and then that's the submission section, and then I decide if I'm going to talk about it. Doesn't mean I'm going to talk about it, right? So then I start reading the articles, and I'm like, hold up. I was like, this is talking about a rebirth character. And then in the article, it says that they're debating or it could be coming. Water says, well, I mean, it might not if they can want to continue overall story, which would be pretty cool, introducing new seasons as a small DLC to continue the overall story. No. In one of the live streams, Water, they said rebirth character, meaning you could just take your character, but he would start back off at level 1 in the seasons, right? Meaning you wouldn't just make the character, like the character creation. And I remember bringing it up, and I said, oh, that would be interesting, but it still makes no sense because you're still not having your character that you just put 100 hours into, right? But anyway, the article, and I had to go find it. I tried to go find it this morning, the actual video evidence of him saying that, oh yeah, you have a rebirth character and start at level 1, but I can't remember what video it was, right? It was one of the dev streams, and I went through it at like 1.5 speed, and I couldn't find it, but I was like, I know he said it, but here we are anyway, okay? It says, future Diablo 4 seasons might not require an entirely new character, okay? It says, Diablo 4 requires you to make a new character every season, and the fact that everyone's imagining a world where it isn't the case, it's an RPG where you customize a character and spend hundreds of hours with them. Why should you have to redo that every 3 months? It turns out that Diablo 3 had an answer to this year's for now, and it's rebirth feature lets you transfer the existing character over to a season, but all their items stay behind, and they start season 1 at level 1. Now, I didn't know this because I didn't play Diablo 3. So how would I make this up and be like, hey, they're having a rebirth character? Because I mentioned it on a podcast like 3 weeks ago on Lono's channel, and someone in the comment section's like, yeah, they're not doing a rebirth. And I'm like, why would I speak about that if I didn't hear about it? And I could have sworn either Rod Ferguson or the other guy with the beard, I forget his name, okay, said something about a rebirth character. You can start back at level 1. Now, that might not sound like much of an improvement, but it really is not. But it also leads to you keep playing the same character you may have gotten attached to, and you keep doing so every season. Look, it's not that hard. The character customization is not that difficult. If you wanted to make your same druid or rogue or necromancer and bring him into season 1, it's not going to be a real big thing. The only thing a rebirth does is skip the character creation. I can't speak this morning. Character creation. Okay, so the new character customization options in D4 would make rebirth feature even more valuable than in Diablo 3. According to the global community development director Adam Fletcher, the team is aware that people would love to see this added in the future. Now, rebirth isn't a feature in D4 yet, which is weird because I could have sworn Rod Ferguson said it. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch at this point to read yet to mean that it's definitely coming, but it's a good sign that they're aware of regardless. But they already said it. I don't know. Right? You literally make the same character a name. Yeah. It wouldn't be that difficult. Just stopping 10 minutes of character customization, you know? Oh, I know, Travis. I just thought it was weird because when you read this article, when you read the title, it says, oh, future of Diablo seasons might not require an entirely new character. Clickbait. So I was like, okay. I was like, oh, they're listening. But then when I read through the article, it's like, they're talking about rebirth. Well, they already said you could have a rebirth character during the season 1. And then I read the article, and the article was like, yeah, they're talking about putting a rebirth character. I'm like, wait a minute, they said it live on the actual air, and I had a conversation about it, right? I actually had a conversation about it saying, well, that's kind of stupid, even if they give you a rebirth character, because all you're doing is skipping the customization, the character customization. But now they're saying that they didn't even think about it. And this is where I'm confused. So I'm asking chat, didn't Rod Ferguson say during one of the dev blogs, was it 2 months ago? Was it the last one? Was it 3 months ago? I could have sworn they said a rebirth character. You could take your character and do the rebirth character. But this article's saying that they've never said it, and it could be coming. Right? That's what I'm confused about. This is not really a story about... I'm trying to figure out, didn't they already say this? It doesn't matter. You don't want your characters looking the same either way. The point of this conversation, Water, is the article. This is not the only article. There's multiple articles that have been read that came out that said, oh, they're talking about rebirth. And I'm like if you type it in, rebirth character in Diablo 4, right? There's multiple articles from Eurogamer, Yahoo, Games Radar. But I'm pretty sure they've already talked about it. And this is what the conversation's about. They're making articles for something that I thought was already official. But in the articles, they're saying it could be coming. Come on, Ghost Dragon. If you're playing a season, just make a new character. Not that hard. So what else other than skipping customization would you get? Nothing. Nothing. You wouldn't get anything. This is why I had a conversation on this channel, like, I don't know, a month ago, saying that the rebirth seems kind of pointless. But now here we are a month later, and there's articles going, they might be bringing in a rebirth. And I'm like, wait a minute, they already said they were, but I can't find the goddamn part that he said it. Like, I can't find it. And when I do a search, there is no search for him to say it. Let's see. Take a look. Information season, upcoming open world RPG that comes out the most recent developer. Let me see if he talks about it real fast.
So we got a ton of new information on Diablo 4 Seasons from the most recent developer live stream, and that's what I want to focus this video
gameplay,
on. And they split up all this information
progression,
into
quality
6
of life,
different categories, so that's going to be the best way to go through all.
No. There you go. I don't know. I guess I'll find it later. I'll look through it. Take the time, and just to think I'm not crazy. A rebirth makes no sense when you can just make the same character and call it a day. It's not like anything gets carried over. Right, Kylo. The conversation wasn't about if rebirth would be good or not. The conversation was about the article that said rebirth could be coming. And I remember Rod Ferguson literally saying that you could take your character and rebirth, right? He said you could take your character that you already have and bring it into season 1, but they would still start at level 1. And I had a conversation saying that that's stupid, right? We already had the conversation about the rebirth about a month and a half ago, okay? Saying that that's ridiculous anyway because you're just skipping the character customization. That's it. That's it. That was the only thing that you get from a character from a rebirth system in Diablo 4. Right? So this is what the conversation was. Right? It was more about a conversation about these articles being written about something that might happen and me saying that it already happened because they already talked about it. It wasn't about during the video, Rod Ferguson didn't say, "Oh, we might bring in rebirth system." He said you could do a rebirth system and then bring your character at level 1. That's what he said. And I was just like, well, that's kind of dumb. Right? So it wasn't about the rebirth system. The rebirth system is stupid. 100% stupid. I said it 3 weeks ago on Lono's channel. I said it like a week and a half before that on my channel. Like it's just dumb. Like, why make? You can literally just take. I can make Jack Burton again. I can make him a druid. It wasn't that hard to pick the same 12 customizations from the thing, put my name on it, and then be attached to him again. That's not the point, right? That's not the point. But let's continue on, shall we? Let's go over to the story that everyone wants to hear but doesn't want to hear, and that's the Microsoft wins the FTC fight to buy Activision Blizzard. Okoki, what's going on? Okoki, the other day you were speaking in our chat in GXG, and I did not see your name pop up at all once. And they say you were asking a question, and I didn't see it. And Smashville Vikings said he was like relaying your messages. I couldn't see your messages, and you weren't banned or anything on my side, so I don't know what was going on. Speaking of Lono, the salt in that Reforged room is insane. He's not upset, is he? All right, so Microsoft wins FTC fight to buy Activision Blizzard. FTC versus Microsoft is over, and the judge has decided to deny the FTC preliminary injunction request. Okay. So the California judge is allowing Microsoft to close the acquisition of Activision Blizzard after 5 days of grueling testimony. Microsoft still faces the ongoing antitrust case by Federal Trade Commission, but the judge, Jacqueline Scott Coral, we did this yesterday, like right after it broke at the end of our show, but we're going over again today for those people that missed, and we'll have a conversation about it, right? And then we'll find other things to talk about. Because I honestly, I don't care. I don't like consolidation of things, right? But it is what it is, right? So from FTC and Microsoft have decided to deny the regulatory request for preliminary injunction. In a ruling submitted today or yesterday, Judge Corley said the following: Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been described as the largest in tech history. It deserves scrutiny. The scrutiny has paid off, and Microsoft has committed in writing, in public, and in court to keep Call of Duty PlayStation for 10 years. Can I just break that down for a second? Microsoft has committed in writing, in public, and in court to keep Call of Duty for PlayStation for 10 years. But PlayStation hasn't signed any documents saying that they want the contract. The last that we heard of Sony PlayStation and Jim Ryan is that he didn't want to sign any 10-year deal. We heard that Matt Booty, or was it Matt Booty? Or what's his name, had the contract in his pocket, in his suit pocket, waiting for them to sign the same deal that Nintendo and everybody else, Boosteroid and all of them, signed. So just because Microsoft was committed in writing and in public and in court to keep Call of Duty PlayStation for 10 years, PlayStation still hasn't signed the deal. So right now, it doesn't matter what Microsoft said if PlayStation doesn't sign, right? So we'll see what happens with that in the future. So an internal several agreement for the first time, bringing Activision content to several cloud gaming services. This court responsibility is in the case is narrow, and it's decided that the notwithstanding that these current circumstances emerge should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending the resolution of the FTC administration actions. For the reason explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown the likelihood it will prevail on its claim of the particular vertical merger in specific industry, and it's essentially lessened competition. And I said this, and I'm not an expert. This is just my opinion, based on what they showed, based on the information given to us through sources, through video coverage, through other people's documents and whatnot. Obviously, it's like playing a game of telephone, but what we saw, not firsthand, some of you have listened to it firsthand, but listened from secondhand, okay, listening to it like a game of telephone, I didn't believe that they gave enough information to find what Microsoft was doing in any bad way, shape, or form. The FTC failed on that aspect to do it, and obviously they did because now the merger is going through. Now, to the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access to Call of Duty and Activision content. The motion for a preliminary injunction is therefore denied. Now, Judge Corley has clearly cited Microsoft as commits to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, even extend to the game Nintendo Switch. Despite the FTC's challenges, Microsoft's cloud agreements, Judge Corley took them to consideration in her decision. The court ruling even agrees with Microsoft in theory about the Nintendo Switch being part of the console market, but also accepts the FTC can reasonably claim it's not. Okay? So I thought this was silly, by the way. Obviously, if I want to make a point and not include something in my point, you could be like, yeah, Nintendo's not part of it because of it. But they are part of it. So to say that they're 80% of the market and we're this, there's a whole other section of the market that's still in there, right? So I thought that was a little weird when they did that in the court. Judge Corley has also agreed with the FTC that the console market does not include PCs. Well, no, of course not. It's not a console. Okay. In a statement following Judge Corley's decision, Microsoft President Brad Smith said, oh, that's it. Brad Smith had the contract in his pocket. Said the company was grateful to the court of San Francisco for a quick and thorough decision to hope other jurisdictions will continue looking towards timely resolution. Now, Xbox head Phil Spencer, a key witness in the trial, also tweeted a reaction. Quote, we're grateful for the court for swiftly deciding in our favor, and the evidence shown in the Activision Blizzard deal is good for industry and the FTC claims about console switching. Multi-game subscription services and cloud don't reflect the realities of gaming market, said Spencer. So Activision Blizzard has also reacted to its decision. Our merger will benefit consumers and workers. Bobby Kotick, Activision Blizzard CEO, said in a statement, quote, it will enable competition rather than allow entrenched market leaders to continue to dominate our rapidly growing industry. I find this quote from Bobby Kotick like so weird, okay? Because he's such... Can we just say that Bobby Kotick, maybe he's one of your guys' uncles or something, I don't know. He's an asshole. He really is an asshole, okay? And I know this is coming from an asshole, right? So one asshole to another, this guy is an asshole, okay? He's double playing this thing. He's like, this will enable competition rather than allow entrenched market leaders. Rock, glass house, throws it at glass house, right? Like, It's just funny that comes out of Bobby Kodak's mouth. Okay? It will enable competition rather than allow entrenched market leaders to continue to dominate our rapidly growing industry. You are one of those, right? Dominating, rapidly grow. Like you are that market leader. Call of Duty, Activision, Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, right? In a statement, the FTC spokesperson Douglas Fair said that the FTC was still planning its next move, and we are disappointed in the outcome given that the clear threat in the merge poses to the open competition in cloud gaming. Subscription services and consoles in the coming days will be announcing our next step to continue our fight to preserve competition and protect consumers, said Farrar. Now, the judge's ruling now allows Microsoft to close its Activision Blizzard deal ahead of July 18th deadline, but only if the company is willing to close around the UK or the Competition and Markets Authority. Now, the CMA is willing to negotiate some of the remedies, and the UK regulatory moved to block Microsoft's proposed acquisitions in April, and Microsoft is currently appealing the decision with the hearing set to start on July 28th. Okay. MLEX reported last month that Microsoft was exploring options to close the deal despite the UK block, which in part spooked the FTC enough to request an injunction in the first place. The CMA also filed to try the delay, and Microsoft appealed the Activision acquisition decision with the request right in the middle of the FTC versus Microsoft hearing. The Competition Appeal Tribunal, the CAT, shut the request down as it would have pushed the appeal process from July to October, contrary to the justice of fairness. Now, minus after the Judge Quarles decision, both the CMA and the Microsoft have agreed to pause their legal battle in the UK because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. They can pause. They can continue on. It doesn't matter. At this point, Microsoft is pushing forward. It went through, and they're just going to steamroll over the EU. Either way, they're either going to get it or they don't. And they'll make a separate entity, move it over there, follow the rules of the CMA that they don't want over there, so people over in the EU will get less for the money, right? They'll get less for their money. They'll get less games on Game Pass. They'll get less stuff happening over there in the EU, and Microsoft will continue to push forward for the rest of the world. Okay. The CAT will need to approve this pause, but increasingly it looks like that all parties are willing to secure remedies in the UK. Now, the European regulators have the deal to go ahead in May, so Microsoft could now technically close without the UK. And without the injunction in the US preventing it, a complicated scenario, though, and it's also clear Microsoft and the CMA are both hoping to avoid that so they could save a couple millions of dollars in court fees. The FTC will now have a chance to appeal Judge Quarles' decision ahead of the 11:59 p.m. Pacific on July 14th, but the regulatory didn't appeal the court's decision permitting Meta to require within. So they may abandon the case against Microsoft and Activision Blizzard instead. They don't have anything. If they go back, right, the preliminary injunction was about selling them of Microsoft, this is bad for this. Now if they come back with something else, it's a completely different case. Completely different case. In the court of order stands, this also be a second major loss for the FTC chair, Lina Khan. As the head of the regulatory, Khan has also been chasing big tech companies ever since she was confirmed as the head of the agency in 2021. So there you go. That's what we got. So Microsoft going through. Let's go to Twitter, shall we? Let's go to Twitter, and let's see if we can find some people's thoughts on Twitter, because that's what you do on the internet as a content creator. You go to the public opinion, right? You go to the public opinion. Let's talk about. Let's see. Hashtag. Is it? What's the hashtag? Let's see. Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard. Let me see if we can. The memes and stuff that people are making. People are so ridiculous. Can I just say I don't understand? I don't understand. I had this small little conversation yesterday in our Discord between Travis and Dupless. I just don't understand why people defend one or the other, right? Unless you are literally a shareholder or you work for the company and Phil Spencer or Jim Ryan's your dad or uncle or something. I don't understand the tribalism of either side defending in a conversation, right? Like, if you're a fan of something, cool. But to defend something like it's your lifeblood, like you own stock, and the best part is, most of these people that defend stuff don't own shit in either of these companies. All they did was buy a box. That's it. Search for cry ponies. I saw that a lot yesterday. I'm with you. I don't get it. As a gamer, I just play games on all systems. Yeah, I just don't understand, because PlayStation's the best, and I want Green to admit it. But to defend something, though, boss, like you're a stockholder, right? Do you at least own stock in Sony? Please tell me you at least own stock in Sony. Like, you have more than, you have a couple hundred shares, thousands of shares in the company. Because if you have zero stock in the company, it's really silly, right? Like, I totally get it, right? Right? I may or may not. So you don't. You're not in court. You may or may not. Do you have stock in the company? It's not like I'm a IRS agent, right? You have stock in the company. To defend something so hard, okay, you at least have to have a good share of stock in that company. Pony's sending threats to the judge now. Don't buy it. He's IRS. Yeah, 100%. I plead the fifth. Okay, right? I don't know why you need to plead the fifth. Like, it's not against the law or anything to admit that you have stock in a company. You can even lie and say, yeah, you do. Right? I have shares in a fund that has Microsoft, but I don't have enough to worry about. But that's what I'm saying, Hilly. Most of the people that argue to the teeth about one company or the next, okay, make it sound like they're in the boardroom, and it's their job and lives depend on it. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny, Water? He's been actually talking crap about Microsoft this whole time to drive stock prices down. Oh, what's that one guy's name I follow on Twitter? He does the name. The big guy. Let me see if I can find him. It starts with God, he's on podcasts and everything. I can't even think of his name now. He does 5-minute news stories in 5 minutes. I can't think of. I'm losing it because they're hardcore fanboys. 30. I don't know. It just seems weird to me, especially the conversation yesterday, like in our Discord. That's 22 hours ago. Why is my feed so... Here, following. Jesse, that's his name. Jesse. How do you spell it? Is it Jesse? I can't find his name now. Question, wouldn't it be, by your standards, just as stupid to support or defend a sports team? Yeah, Travis. That's exactly what I said yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. The fans that are rabid fans for sports that don't have any any bearing on it. Like, we won the World Series, we won the Super Bowl. You could be a fan and love Jesse Cox. Thank you, Ghost Dragon. Thank you very much. Right? You could be a fan and be happy for your team. But for the fans that get in, we've all seen this happen, right? You've been at a bar or a sporting event and people get in fights and arguments because their team, like, if you say your team sucks, they get super defensive and stuff like that. That's exactly right. Okay, here's a statement that Jesse Cox said earlier today, right? Now, Jesse Cox is just another content creator, very big content creator. I like Jesse. Jesse is a good guy. Okay, I like his content. This is a question, right? This is a question. Okay, now he's replying to Lulu Chang's tweet. He says, the legal system worked. A fair natural court has reached the correct conclusion of Activision Blizzard merge and Microsoft based on the facts and the law, which is true. Okay, the judge's ruling rejects the FTC's ideological driven attempt to prevent the deal and benefits of gamers and allows more competition instead of protecting the market leader. Okay, that was the drive. Now, he asks a question, right? This is a question that he's asking. Someone explained to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, how the Microsoft acquisition Activision Blizzard is a, quote, a deal that benefits gamers and allows more competition. Okay, how does fewer and fewer companies owning more and more do this? What is the benefit to the gamer? And that's a real question, right? That's a real question. Right? Short term, you look at it and say, well, it's more games on Game Pass or whatnot. But as customers, right? Not of one side or the other, consolidation is bad for us, consumers, not gamers, okay? Consumers. So a company buying up more and more things, we've seen it plenty of times before with the phone companies, with the cable companies, right? Oh, it's so good. This company buys this, so I'm going to get it more on my, right? The streaming services, the studios, they keep buying up more and more stuff, okay? And you think it's good, but it's not good. It's anything but good for gamers, for customers, okay? Short term, sure, right? You look at it and you're like, hey, I get more games on Game Pass. But long term, you're like, oh, they own that. It might come out where all of a sudden they destroy the studio because now they have, there was a pie chart. Where's the pie chart that, let me find this pie chart that they sent, right? We find, Krebsy submitted it yesterday. General. Yeah, look at this, right? Look at this. Look at this pie chart. Where is it? Where the hell is it? Go back. No. Give me 1 second. This pie chart's ridiculous. Of the amount of studio space and stuff that's being taken. General gaming. There you go. Let me make this bigger. Something went wrong. They got rid of it. Okay, there it is. Like, look at this, right? This is Xbox right now. Xbox Game Studio. Okay. This is Bethesda's stuff, and inside Bethesda, you have the other studios, how small they are and whatnot, right? Like I can't zoom in anymore, but you have Interactive, XL, you have Turbo 10, Ninja Theory, Coalition, Obsidian, Playground Games, Rare, 343, Mojang. That's under the studio. Look at this. Right? Look at Blizzard. Look at King. Look at the size of these companies. They're getting so many more employees. So what does this mean? Well, it means a lot of people are going to lose their job in the future because they're going to have to trim the fat, consolidate stuff. There might be games that would have gotten pushed to the forefront, but now that something else is happening, you're losing out on certain things. There might be IPs that are skipped over now, right? That's just on the basis of that. Consolidation is bad. Right? And this is not a monopoly in any way, shape, or form, because people like throwing that word around. Well, this is a monopoly. I want to stop Microsoft because it's a monopoly, right? It's bad for gamers because of the consolidation. It was bad, like I said, for the phone industry. It was bad for the cable industry. It's bad. Again, I'll use Disney as an example. Okay. Right? It's bad when a company keeps gobbling up other companies, and we think, as fans, we're going to be really happy with that, right? Oh, Disney, they bought Star Wars. We're going to get a lot more Star Wars, but then the Star Wars is crap. Now, that's subjective, but the majority of the population, again, the overall of it, is they've destroyed the brand. They've destroyed the brand in less than 10 years. Something got built up for 40 years, okay, or 30 years, got destroyed in less than technically 5 years from a company that was supposed to be the saviors of Star Wars. Okay, Marvel's Avengers, or I should say Marvel's in general, right, got picked up by Microsoft or by Disney, and they completely destroyed the IP brand itself. Right, so they took all the stuff, they consolidated under thing. Fox is underneath under Disney as well, and all of this stuff is changing, right? Is changing things for the better. But is it? Prices go up. Things change. When someone owns the whole entire market, they can charge for what they want because no one's competing with them. And sure, Sony is the industry leader now for what they do, and Microsoft is trying to compete with that, but they're going in a separate direction. They're going into the mobile market. Consolidation can be bad, but I don't think this is comparable to cable and internet. And how so? How so, Reese? How can you not compare this to every other consolidation from a big conglomerate company picking up other companies? It's in the judge's decision. Microsoft buying Activision gives their games to more bases, Nintendo, Nvidia, etc. Microsoft Gaming is already too big to manage. I can see something similar what happened to the Embracer Group. Yeah, and what Embracer Group is doing is not good either, right? What Tencent is doing is not good either. These are all things that are doing the exact same thing as Microsoft just did with Activision Blizzard. Dean says, I think this might get read on, but I'll read it anyway. For the past 8 years, I've been in an abusive relationship, but today I'm proud to say I've uninstalled Destiny 2. You know what? Let me see if I have something for you. Let me see. Do I have a crowd? No. Wait. I don't have it. I don't have a crowd noise. I don't have my crowd noise. I'll have to clap for you, Dean. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. And congratulations for getting away with your abusive relationship, Dean. It's the first step. It's the first step in the right direction. It's the right step. Well, welcome aboard.
Keep the change.
Yeah, here it comes. It's going to read it now.
For the past 8 years, I've been in an abusive relationship, but today I'm proud to say that I've uninstalled Destiny 2.
Well, here, I'll give you this instead.
Hello, what have we here?
There you go. That's great, though. That's great. What was the push, Dean? What was the push that pushed you over the edge? What did Destiny do? Show me on the doll where Destiny hurt you. Let me go back up and read a little bit of the chat, what you guys are saying. Xbox has its victory. God knows they haven't had one in Jesus forever. Yeah, it's been well over a decade, Travis. It's been well over a decade. I still have a friend who's still in that relationship. I pray one day for him to take the same step. They added fishing. Oh, that's great. The fishing was the line that's great. Like, I love the gunplay. The gunplay is amazing. The loot system's great. The dungeons are amazing. Oh god, they added fishing. I'm out. I can't stand my girlfriend fishing. You have to pay to fish? Yeah, I know your point, Travis. I know, that's why I said it's been over a decade. So Lono's having a meltdown over a Microsoft decision. How's your day, Mike? I'm doing fine. I mean, can we be honest? Because I don't like, I know you're not talking trash about Lono, right? We all have, as content creators, he's got his shtick, right? He's a very good content creator. He makes good content by talking about stuff. It's all part of his brand and stuff. So to make good conversation, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he's like faking it. Like he's straight up and tells why he doesn't like the deal, right? We think alike. I don't like the consolidation, right? I just do it in a more, I do it in a different way. The salt is the salt is enough to clog my arteries. I personally don't care. Like, if Microsoft didn't buy this, Amazon would have, Tencent would have, somebody other than Microsoft would have bought it. And I think people would have been okay with that because they don't have a console, right? Like, Tencent doesn't make consoles, right? Amazon doesn't make consoles, but Amazon does have Luna, right? So I think people would have been less pissed off, but they still would have been in the same position, right? The same thing, and then someone brought it up, Embracer Group is doing. Embracer's doing the exact same thing, right? They're just buying up other companies and making one giant conglomerate company, okay? And then they fire people. They consolidate people, and then they fire them, okay? They did it there. They're doing it here. There's another, here. There's another article, I believe. Let me see where it is. Where is... Oh, I'm in the wrong section. Let me go to submitted stories. They're already firing people. They're firing people before it even happens. Reported, Microsoft has started, by Tom Warren, Microsoft has started another round of layoffs today. I'm still working to confirm the amount of people affected. Sales terms seem to be the most impacted so far, along with employees in support roles, education, and Microsoft's modern work teams. Now, obviously, this doesn't have any bearing on me, right? It doesn't have any bearing on me. I don't care if someone else loses their job, but this is what happens in the business, right? Like, there's no fairness in business. There's no fairness in business and in war. There's nothing fair about it. Okay. People get picked up and like, oh, okay. Like, I have friends that work for Microsoft. Okay. I have friends that work for Sony companies as well. I went to school with people that work in the gaming industry at Full Sail, and they work for bigger companies now. Okay. Like, people in my direct class, in my graduating class, they work for these companies. I don't have any bias towards any one way or other. People make to put that on me because I play on Xbox, but companies buy people up and then they fire people and they get rid of people because they have to get rid of the excess fat, right? They just spent $70 billion buying a company, but they can't afford Susie anymore in accounting, right? And this is just what it is. We'll find out more what happens because they have to make room, right? Isn't it weird that they fired just a couple of months ago, they fired 4,000 people in Microsoft, but yet they're getting 4,000 people from Microsoft or from Activision? Is it kind of weird, isn't it? Right? Kind of weird, right? Just so strange that they fired 4,000 people and yet 4,000 people are coming in. So strange. Just a coincidence, though. Just a coincidence. I'm a scalpel, Lono's a hammer. Before we know, every gaming dev will owned by Sony, Microsoft, or Amazon. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Like, for instance, BattleBit remasters, right? Fun game. But what about if EA says, you know what? We can't compete with them. They're more popular than us. So EA buys them. I'm sure that's great for the 3 guys that made the game. They get paid, and now they're underneath the thumb of EA. And then EA says, you know what? We don't want the game anymore. See you later. We're going to take what you learned from that game, and we're going to immerse you into the next EA DICE game. Right? That could happen. That's what happens. Okay? I would like for them to stay separate, independent. Right? You don't need to make all the money, but companies need to make all the money. Conglomerate companies need to make all the money. Firing people like ESPN, firing analysts? Yeah, whatever. Like, Disney bought ESPN. They bought all this stuff. Everyone's like, oh, this is great. It's going to thrive. Disney's going to thrive. ESPN has been absolute crap. And now they just fired, like, I don't know, 50 people? Like, people you watched on television. Coincidence? I think not. Well, the next era, next EA game be G.I. Joe Battlefield. Well, if they did, you know that Sarge said it first. Yeah, you know that. Look, so what changes? What changes for the gamer? Nothing. You pay more money for Game Pass because you know that's coming. When they bring in World of Warcraft to console a couple years from now, or if they do whatever else game's coming and they put it on Game Pass, I hate to break it to you, even though all these people are shouting at the top of the rooftops going, Blizzard said that Diablo is not coming to Game Pass. Sure. We'll see. We'll see. Is it weird for gaming? I'm a big Xbox guy, but I also do photography and only touch Sony's cameras. It makes no sense as why I don't play on Sony console. First world problems. No, because I've used plenty of. I mean, I don't own a PlayStation 5. Does that mean I hate Sony? I don't own a Sony television. Does that mean I hate Sony? No, it means my wallet hates expensive prices and I couldn't afford a Sony television set. Right? Is that real? No, Sarge, for the longest time, gotta be 2 years, 3 years, has always talked about Battlefield being a G.I. Joe. Like, the recipe for Battlefield is just G.I. Joe and Cobra. Just Cobra, Cobra and G.I. Joe fighting across the world, and you have different objectives and different things that you do. Yeah. No, it would be great. Battlefront 3 is what we need. I think Battlefront 3 is in the works. I do. Fighting to save the day. That's right.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Let's see what else we got on the docket. Talking to the world's biggest tech companies and losing FTC country. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. It's pretty much a light news day because, and we can have conversations about anything, right? But light news day because of basically everything was being taken over by the Xbox news, and it's been that news for the entire year and a half. We need the Bad Batch in Battlefront 3. I I would like to see as many characters in Battlefront 3 as possible. Now, if they did it in seasons, because you know there's going to be seasons. Division 2 can be a G.I. Joe game. It could. Yeah. Division 2 could also, Big Bobby, be a Ghostbusters game. This is my pitch for Massive to make a Ghostbusters game. Where just picture New York or Washington or whatever, and the guns and the backpacks you have on in Division could be transformed. I want someone to make a mod for this, right? Where you, instead of shooting guns, you're shooting your beam, your proton packs. And instead of shooting at cleaners and all the other guys, you're shooting at ghosts. And you're trying to rid the city of all the ghosts. That's part of the story. You're cleaning section by section, right? And by the end of the campaign, you've cleaned the city up and you fight a massive boss battle. And then at the end of the massive boss battle, at the very end, it's like the douchebag at the end of Ghostbusters 1. He comes in and shuts down the proton pack or the containment unit. And then all of a sudden, like the Black Tusk, it's like the really bad guys, and you're playing a live service game of just clearing out the ghosts. And then you can have like a franchise, right? So there's different expansions. So now you cleaned up New York, and now you go to Washington, and you cleaned up Washington, you go to LA, right? Type of stuff. I mean, I haven't thought about it too much. Haven't thought about it too much. Just riffing off the top of my brain. Didn't they just make a new Ghostbusters game? They did. It was a like a prop hunting game type of thing where basically you're a group of Ghostbusters and one of your guys is the ghost and he goes around and you're trying to find him, and it seems like a fun game. Is it good? It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be fun, but you have to have a group of people. It's sort of like a game like Friday the 13th or Chainsaw Massacre. It's a party game. You can play by yourself, and there's upgrades and stuff you can do for your character customization. Dan Aykroyd's in there in his bookshop. It has like a small story. They've had expansion packs for it as well. I'll play it once it comes to Game Pass. We got Diablo news here. Diablo 4 player are doing literally billions of points of damage in single shot with bonkers shred druid builds. Oh, well, look at that. Billions of points. Didn't a guy... Oh, 1 billion points of just regular damage. My God. Highest damage ever hit in Diablo. 957 million points. Almost 1 billion. It was more than that on a crit hit, though. I know that. Yeah, 1.8 billion. A regular hit, 1.8 billion. There it is, a cheap Game Pass plug. We all know you love it. Give it. Yep. If Microsoft was smart, they would just pay Sony millions monthly, and Sony can just make good games, make lots of money, and send good games to Game Pass. Everybody wins. If they did that, though... Oh, you're saying like separate games, boss, is what you're saying. Like, pay Sony Studios to make an exclusive game for Game Pass. Oh, Sony would do that. Sony would do that if Sony didn't have a Sony PlayStation, right? If Sony was like Sega, then they would do that. But because they have the console, there's no way they would do that. The main reason I'm scared for the next GTA direction is Leslie Benitez, who's been at Rockstar since the beginning and was Rockstar's North president, left the company a couple years ago. Well, so did Dan Houser. Like, the people that made Grand Theft Auto, the big people have left Rockstar Games. Right? That's like the brains of the operation. So we don't know who's in place of them and how good they do, but yeah. Did Douglas Kwan? Is that another guy that left? I think the game will be good. I do. There was talks that the writers of it, because of the world circumstances, that they were going to make it less edgy. You know what I mean? I don't care about a female protagonist, but just please keep the damn GTA game. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. I don't think people care. I don't care if it's a girl protagonist or not. A girl character doesn't make it woke. You know what I mean? But if you start fundamentally changing what Grand Theft Auto is, if you start getting rid of the raunchiness or of the hookers in the where you can kill anybody, and they don't make those rude, crude jokes anymore on the commercials and the radio commercials, that's a problem. That's the identity, right? The humor of Grand Theft Auto is just as important as the guns and running people over in cars and shooting people with Grand Theft Auto. Right? I don't think majority of the population is going, "Oh, girl. I don't want to be a girl." Like, no, nobody cares. Such a small population care. That's right? Girl doesn't mean woke. You know what I mean? It's the content, the changing, the landscape, the actual fundamentals of what the game is. Look at what happened to Saints Row. Right? Saints Row completely changed what Saints Row was. They changed the identity of what the game was. I think it's going to be very safe. They don't want to offend people anymore. Yeah, see, that's a major problem. Which is funny to me, right? Because they're the number one selling piece of entertainment of all time. 180 million units sold. Okay. And do they think if they change that recipe, they're going to make more? People play Grand Theft Auto because it is Grand Theft Auto. I don't want My Little Pony. I mean, that might be a fun mod, though. A toting, gun blazing My Little Pony running around the city might be fun. Saints Row left a bad taste. Yeah, because they changed the identity of it. Ray has proved that bad writing can ruin a franchise. Right, but it wasn't because of Ray, Travis. It was Ray with bad writing. And if you don't believe that, you can go look at some of the outrageous, raunchy things I say to make him blush. What did you say, Chapter 8? Did I miss what you said up above? I stopped playing Saints Row after 2, but man, 2 was awesome. 2 was the pinnacle. 2 was the pinnacle of it. I thought the first one and the second one were really good. Agreed, Mo. The first 2 were great. The rest of them were way beyond of what it was, and that's when the sales went down and down. Oh, for sure, Travis. For sure. I don't know if that's a correlation, Brain. Like, if it's woke, does that mean Lazo won't be on the radio? I mean, I'm not talking about if it's woke as far as Lazo won't. What I'm saying is they just changed the fundamental jokes and the foundation of what Grand Theft Auto is, right? Oh, I see. No, if you don't believe that girls don't equal woke is what I meant. I got you. Yeah, it's like most of the time when we play characters, we make girl characters and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about that stuff. Like, I don't think girl characters mean woke. Why would chick be stealing cars and stuff? I just don't see it. Bonnie and Clyde? Why would a chick rob a bank? What are you talking about, boss? Like, women can't be criminals? I want another game like Mass Effect 3. Games that led to each other great endings. Oh, like you want a game that's like linked, like Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3? Is that what you're saying, Mo? I get the bank thing, but I run upon somebody punch them, steal their car. Nah. Well, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I mean, what makes Black Widow cool? You know, that she can take down a big giant man. Is it realistic? I mean, she's an assassin type of thing, right? So it all depends on what the story is written for the girl character. Are you talking about like physical strength? Like you just don't see her like running up to a car, punching somebody, and then pulling them out? So you're saying it's not believable? Yeah, but what happens like when people make a character right now, like a girl character in online, GTA Online? You're running around smacking, pulling people out. I don't think it really breaks the immersion. That to me doesn't really. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That I don't think that if Grand Theft Auto does that, I don't think that's more. I don't think that's less of a sale than changing the fundamentals of what Grand Theft Auto is. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be pretty funny if you were a girl character and then all of a sudden you picked up like a male hooker, you know, and then you did the exact same things you were doing or you went to a male strip club or something. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. If they did the exact same thing for a girl character, but for that's fine. I'm talking about the fundamental of what Grand Theft Auto is. Like, don't blur stuff out or don't take away certain things because you're going to offend somebody. Just make a Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, have you seen the Night Agent? Have you seen anyone seen the Night Agent? The girl in Night Agent, the assassin, right? The Night Agent, the assassin or the criminal in Night Agent, it's a psycho chick. She kind of reminds me of Helen Bonham Carter a little bit, right? Like, that would be interesting. Or a girl strip club. Yeah, whatever, Chapter 8. That doesn't need to be said. Just whatever. I'm saying I don't care about the protagonist. I'm saying the fundamentals of Grand Theft Auto about the humor, right? Press on. I don't care as right. The girl that was in Night Agent, the assassin that was going around, she's a psycho, man. That'd be interesting to see. Like the girl's just batshit crazy, like Trevor. One main character, a female, or you can pick a female or male. I'm cool with that. Well, supposedly right now there's supposedly, take this with a grain of salt. Let me bring it up for you. There's some footage or leaks or whatever of what the protagonist will be. Let me see if I can find it. And again, this is take what you want, grain of salt. Like I said, we don't know if these are mods or whatnot, but the leaks that are happening, they show 3 protagonists. They don't know if this is. Let's see if I can find it. Some of them are mock-ups, and some of them are leaked footage. Can't find it now. There was one where they had the 3 characters. One was a girl, and there was 2 guys. White guy, black guy, like Hispanic girl, I think it looks like. And now I can't find it. Like 2 weeks ago when I saw it. I guess let me just do a search. So far, there's 2 things going around. There's footage of a girl walking around, and then there's footage of a guy with a backwards baseball cap walking around. And there's no footage that I can see of the third guy. I don't want to show them on stream because the actual footage, because they're, they'll take me down if it's for whatever reason. But I still think there's 3 protagonists. I don't think you can go backwards. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Grand Theft Auto can go backwards. I don't think you can go back to one character. What they did with Michael, Trevor, and I can't remember the third guy's name. It wasn't CJ. CJ was in San Andreas. What was his name? You guys said it the other day, and I forget. Franklin. Thank you, boss. Right? When you had those 3 characters, you can't go backwards into one character again. You have to either, the only way you could do it is if you could customize your character and your character is your own story. That would be interesting. I don't know if they'll make it less offensive. Boss, I know a few chicks that would fold you as a pretzel as they want to be. Don't even know me. That's a dumb statement. Geez, guys, just do the Ubisoft approach at the start. Let me pick make or female, boom. Yeah, but the problem with that is, what I don't like about the online version, Travis, is that your character is completely silent. He just sits there and is like, and they do that stuff. I hate that. Yeah, Titan says, custom character doesn't fit into the GTA cinematic single player I'm expecting from GTA 6 online, sure. Probably won't have to wait too much longer before the official reveal. Yeah, I think October, November is when they'll post it out. They'll push it out as a trailer. It's coming out next year. That's my pick. I like how they did GTA 5. There was a mob guy where you're classy criminal RP, and then there was Trevor, the chaos. Yeah, I thought it was great for those 3. Now, personally, if they do the 3 protagonists again, I don't think you could do it exactly like Franklin, Michael, and Trevor, right? Taking one and making it into the gangster, the mobster, and then the crazy person. I don't think they could do that. I think they have to have definitely their own personalities. It's gonna look when you have Grand Theft Auto, the expectations for Grand Theft Auto 6 are through the roof. You cannot compete, right? I still believe that they will sell more units when they first come out than Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's see, pre-order. The data shows 7 million pre-orders worldwide, breaking down to 3.7 million for Xbox 360 and around 3.4 million for PlayStation 3. Okay? So I think they will break that record for pre-orders. They'll have more pre-orders than ever before. Okay? Grand Theft Auto 5 sales first day, 800 million. Grand Theft Auto 5, the 5th installment of the video game that became focal point. Let's see, guns blasting 800 million in global first day sales. That's not pre-order. That's first day sales. Right? So games were $60, right? $60? Yeah. So they sold 13 million copies. Right? $13 million times 60. Yeah. 780. So they got a little more than that. Right? So they sold 13 million. They had 7 before. First day sales, I'm assuming they sold an additional 7 that day, 7 million. So total they had 13, 14 million sales total. Let's see, first week. GTA 5 first week. Yeah, the first week sold 16 million units and generated 1.5 billion. 1.15 billion. I think they beat that. There'll be a gay dude, a skateboard dude, and type, and a strong Colombian chick. Good. It's a good guess. Good guess. That sounds terrible. I don't know. It sounds pretty good. Come on, Robert Jones. I mean, when I say sounds good, I'm saying that sounds like a pretty good prediction, is what I'm saying. And the $80 version, which was I bought, sure, but regardless, it's still 16 million units, and the first week was 1.15 billion. So your $80 is included in that as well. I like the Colombian chick idea. Maybe the other two is a rich hacker dude and a racer dude. Yeah, it's gotta feel right. They gotta feel like an everyday type of person. Like you can't have like a ninja. You know what I mean? Does this new one take place in Miami again? Colombian chick sounds very believable. Yeah, it does. Supposedly, again, the leaks. It takes place all of Florida, basically. The way the map looks that we showed a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, I guess now, it looks like it's South Florida, the Keys, South Florida, and then it goes up into like the middle section of like the Orlando area and whatnot. You see like Tampa, what would be Tampa, what would be like the Orlando area, and then what would be like West Palm Beach, and then Miami. Yeah. They also had a $200 collector's edition. Man, $200 back then. Colombians are crazy, and the chicks are crazy. I could see them punching somebody and yanking them out of the car. All right, so we've sold Boss. Boss is back in. He's like, I'm okay with the female chick. He's back in. As long as it's a Colombian girl. I don't want another Trevor character. I don't think you could do another Trevor character. It's almost like doing another Handsome Jack character in Borderlands. You can't do it. Like, it was a really good character for that particular guy. I don't think you can do it again. It would be played out. Even if it's a girl, even if it's like a psycho like Trevor, right? Like you could have a person that's unhinged, just not like Trevor. Trevor was just an absolute, like, was just gone. Yeah, but Dave, was Vice City your favorite because of the place or because of the feel, because of the time frame. Because I think for me anyway, and I'm asking you, I'm not like telling you. For me, it was because it took place in the 80s and with the 80s music and whatnot, right? So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be taking place in the 80s. She wouldn't be psycho. She'd be more calculated. Temper. Get rough when needed. Yeah. She would use her like seductiveness to get what she wants, and then she'd take a knife out of her back pocket and hold it up to your throat. Where the hell did you pull that out of? That's what she would do. Let's see what other the news we have here for in Game Rant. Boulder Gate interview, lead writer talks story, character, and quest permission. Red Dead rumors are starting to swirl bigger and bigger.
Hello, what have we here?
Hello, what do we have here? Thank you very much for the subscription. Yeah, well, I don't think it's half-assed or rushed. That's for sure, boss. Again, I say that, but as saying that, with all the stuff that's happened with AAA studios, and we're like, no, they won't mess it up. Like, there's still a couple studios out there that I trust in, right? Insomniac Games. I trust in Rockstar Games. Like, I trust in certain companies, even Rocksteady, right? Even though Suicide Squad's a little bit on the side, I trust Rocksteady until proven otherwise. So, we'll see. Rockstar has done more good than bad, in my opinion. Way, way more good than bad. Prosy says they really missed the boat on Red Dead Redemption 2. They could have given people so much more. Yeah. As far as you're talking about like the online version, Red Dead Redemption 2, the single player aspect of that game was fantastic. The posses and stuff. But here's the thing. They added for the online aspect of it, they added like the campgrounds, right? And people wanted to get houses and stuff. And I made a video a long time ago talking about the houses and stuff they could have on there, what they could implement stuff. But if they did that, it would negate having the campsite. You know what I mean? Like, it would negate having the campsite. It would negate having certain things. Not gaming news, but I just bought a gaming PC, and I'm dying waiting for Phantom Liberties and Starfield. Thinking of restarting Hogwarts, cranking it up to 1,000. Nice. So did you build it yourself? Or did you get a pre-built one? No judging here. No judging, at least by me anyway. The CEO retires at the end of the year. Yeah, but Spider-Man 2 will be done by then, and Wolverine is already in far enough along that I think that anything after Wolverine, then we can start looking at it and going, I don't know. I'll say Mafia is better than GTA, but I like old gangster films. I like the Mafia series. Hold on one second. There's a lawnmower outside my window. I like the Mafia series, and I like mobsters as well, Travis. As a game though, not the era or anything like that. Grand Theft Auto to me is just, or at least 5, is just a much superior game. The CEO may pop up at Microsoft. Who knows? Or he goes on and starts his own company. Come on, Stubby. Mafia was kind of mid to me. I like it. I just think Grand Theft Auto is game-wise is a superior game. It's a superior game. I ended up with the pre-built one, but only because I had Abe and Zubair tell me what to build to do myself, and then closer Prime Day deal had the same thing pre-built for not much more. Oh yeah, I just saw some of the Prime deals that were happening, and I was like, I don't need a computer, but maybe yeah. No, I didn't. I didn't pull the trigger though. He said retirement, I think. I never played Sleeping Dogs, no. I heard the new Mafia is being headed by the former Rockstar guy. The new one? Yeah, I never played Sleeping Dog. Let me look up gameplay. I remember it, but I don't remember it. I remember the cover. Oh, you know what I did?
Have you ever played a game that was...
Let me mute this. I think I tried this. Yeah, I did. I tried this. The reason I forgot about it is because I gameflied it. I didn't like it. But this is going back. When did this come out? Did this come out in 2012, 2013? Sleeping Dog. Yeah, August 12th. It came out August 14th, 2012. Yeah, I was playing back then. I was playing, I believe, waiting for Grand Theft Auto to come out because Grand Theft Auto came out in 2013. But I think I was playing Bad Company. That came out in 2010. What was I playing? Was I playing Battlefield 4? No, that came out. Dude. Oh, I was playing Mass Effect. I was playing Mass Effect 2. That's what I played. I played Mass Effect 2 that day. I was addicted. I was addicted to Mass Effect. Yeah, because it came out. Mass Effect came out, and it was years before. But in 2012, I was getting GameFly, and I tried a whole bunch of games. If Sleeping Dogs were to remaster or remake on the next generation console, then I'd buy it quickly. Did they remaster it? Did they remaster it? Did it get an upgrade or update or anything like that? $15.5-hour game. Not bad. 34 hours to obtain 100%. There's a definitive edition on Game Pass for Sleeping Dog. Dave Rose says Mass Effect 2 is one of the few games I give a perfect 10. I was absolutely addicted to that game. 100% agree. It literally is my, I think it is my favorite game. It's close to, I love Red Dead 1, Red Dead 2, Mass Effect 2. Like as a story-driven game, those are like right up there. Mass Effect 2 is, to me, it is, Rose. It is like the perfect game. I don't give perfect scores, but Mass Effect 2 to me is like the perfect game. I got into gaming because of Mass Effect 2. I played casually on a friend's system before then, but then I played the beginning of Mass Effect 2 and immediately went out and bought my own console. Mass Effect 2, I think is my favorite game of all time. Like it's hard. There's a lot of games out there. It's such a hard thing. It's definitely my favorite game. I would say in the teens, in the decade, from like 2010 to 2019 or 2019. Yeah, Mass Effect 3 was a disappointment, but here's the thing, Jason, right? I look at Mass Effect as Star Wars, right? And hear me out here, right? When Mass Effect 1 came out, it was good, right? Mass Effect 1 was a great game. But I didn't like the gameplay, the way that you operated the character. It was just kind of clunky. And then Mass Effect 2 came out. So Mass Effect 1 is like New Hope. It was good. It was good, but it wasn't great. It was just a really big hit. Then Mass Effect 2 came out, and that's the Empire Strikes Back of Star Wars. It's like it's so good. Your expectations now from going from Mass Effect 1 to what they could have done in Mass Effect 2 was just awesome. And you could take your character and continue it over. And then the third one comes out, and that's Return of the Jedi, where Return of the Jedi, it's still good, okay, but it's not as good because now your expectations are so high after watching Empire Strikes Back that Return of the Jedi just wasn't as good, but still a good film. Mass Effect 3 is a good game, but it's not a Mass Effect 2. That happens with a lot of trilogies, though. If you have a trilogy for movie, seasons for a show, or for video games, usually the second season or the second game or the second movie is always like the better one. My favorite game is Mafia 2 and Mafia 1 Remake. But the Mass Effect multiplayer, Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was great. Ever played Warcraft? Played StarCraft? Oh man. Warcraft when I was in college, boss, I would constantly, I remember visiting my friends up at University of Florida, and we would just have nights where we're just playing Warcraft. So many late nights playing Warcraft. I love StarCraft though. StarCraft was great as well. Warcraft was first. Yeah, Mass Effect 3 was a big letdown. This is why I tell people you have to play Mass Effect 2. If anything, just play Mass Effect 2. Like, don't play 1, don't play 3, just play 2. Did I see the Godfather movie? Jesse, I worked in the film industry. Of course I saw the Godfather film. Yeah, Mass Effect 2 is just Mass Effect 2, Paul, is like everything that could possibly happen good, like all came together and made that championship team, if you want to do a sports analogy. Like they just all came together and made the perfect game. I mean, Travis, the Godfather films was like in film school. We had to watch we had to watch certain movies. Not that I know of yet, B. Gotta play Mass Effect 1 because the story transfers over. No, you could start Mass Effect 2. That's what I did, Quintar. I never played Mass Effect 1 first. I gameflied Mass Effect 2. Didn't know about Mass Effect 1, right? Started a fresh character, got about 2 hours in. Then I found out that you could take your character from Mass Effect 1, right? And I was like, wait a minute. And then I went back and played Mass Effect 1. Hated it because of the control schemes and whatnot, the way you operated Shepard. And then I was like, oh, I'm playing all this. And then when I went to Mass Effect 2, I was like, this is amazing. Actually, I played about 4 or 5 hours before I went back to 1. I've never seen Mission Impossible. Debating to get Paramount to watch them all. Mission Impossibles 1, 2, and 3, boss, are good films. Not until you get to, what is it, Ghost? Hold on. Mission, I forget which one's what number. Yeah, so Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3, Ghost Protocol was fantastic. Right? That's where it picks up. Yeah, Ghost Protocol is just an amazing film. Okay. Then you have Rogue Nation, which is good. Then you have Fallout, which is also good. So like Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout, those are good films. Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3, they play it safe or whatever. It's like Mission Impossible 3 to Ghost Protocol is like a completely different series. It just feels a completely different series. I'm excited to see the new one. I haven't heard anything whatsoever. I'm going on vacation next week, and I think we're going to watch it while we're up in either in Texas or when we're in Minnesota. I've never watched any of them. Something about Tom Cruise seems all right as a person. Not my favorite actor at all, though. He does a really good job. I like his films. If Jack Black was the star in Mission Impossible, I'm trying to picture that, Dabstick. Seeing Jack Black as the main, as the agent. That would be actually really funny. That would be, remember Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen? That would be really funny to see Jack Black as what's it called? Just like Hot Shots, but it'd be Mission Impossible. It'd be called Mission Possible. It'd be a spoof. They don't make those kind of movies anymore, man. That would be pretty funny. That's a good pitch. Jack Black as the agent. And they make him look like Tom Cruise. Complete spoof of it. I totally watched that. That would be pretty funny. All right, let's go back to see if I can find any other stories. All these Prime deals, man, going on. Too many electronics. I can't buy them all. Modern control of Alpha Protocol. What's Alpha Protocol? I don't remember Alpha Protocol. Travis, which one was that? Alpha Protocol. Oh. Kind of reminds me of Splinter Cell. I never played this. I know of the game, though. Yeah. 'I miss the Splinter Cell games. Splinter Cell games were good. Dude, so many games. We talked about it yesterday. I think 2012. I think 2012 was some of the best games. Was it 2011? Hold on one second. Let me see. 2010. 2010, I think, was like one of the greatest gaming years of all time. Like what came out. Okay. So hear me out. Okay. In 2010, you had Mass Effect 2, BioShock 2, God of War 3, Castlevania, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Super Mario Galaxy 2. Okay. You had Halo Reach. You had Heavy Rain. You had StarCraft 2. You had Red Dead Redemption. Okay, you had Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. You had Fallout New Vegas. You had Red Dead Redemption, what's it called? Nightmare, which is probably one of the best DLCs ever created. You had Battlefield Bad Company 2. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions was good. Transformers War of Cybertron. Okay. What else do you have? You have Kingdom Hearts. Oh, and Star Wars Force Unleashed. Right? There was so many games that came out in 2010. Like good games. Alan Wake came out, Just Cause. Right? 2010 to me was like one of the better gaming, like created games. What was 2011? Titan says 2011. Oh, this is a good one too. Batman Arkham City, Uncharted, Dark Souls, Portal 2, LA Noire, Witcher 2 is okay. Saints Row 3 wasn't the best. Gears of War 3, man, 2010, 2011 were some really freaking good games. Star Wars: The Old Republic. I think just a little bit. I think more better. Is that even a freaking thing? Better games came out in 2010, substance-wise, right? So good. What was 2007? 2007. Call of Duty, BioShock, Galaxies, Uncharted, Portal 1, Mass Effect 1, Halo 3, Assassin's Creed, The Witcher, Stalker, Half-Life, Episode 2, Spider-Man. I played the crap out of Spider-Man 3. Played the crap out of that game. Oh, Skate. Love Skate. Not bad. 2010. I'm telling you. At least in my opinion. 2010. This year, in 2024, or I'm sorry, 2023. I'm in the future, guys. We got some bangers this year. Did you ever play Gun? Yeah. You got some bangers this year. Okay. Resident Evil 4. Regardless if you like Diablo or not, Diablo 4 is out this year, right? You got Spider-Man 2. Starfield's going to be a big game. Zelda, Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, Alan Wake 2 is coming out. Jedi Survivors came out. Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed comes out. Company of Heroes 3, Redfall. We don't talk about Redfall. Like Fight Club. Don't talk about Redfall. Technically, Avatar Frontier could be a good game. Right? Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out. Lies of P. Mortal Kombat 1. What else we got here? Descent's actually getting pretty good talk. Aliens Dark Descent. There's a lot of games coming out this year, man. This top section right here looks pretty damn good. Dead Space. Yeah, it was a remake though. Look, they don't even put the cover over here. Come on. Like, yeah, don't look about that. Right? I love Dead Space when it came out. I don't care. I don't care about remakes. I said Resident Evil 4. Oh, you're saying it was a remake. I got you. Fine. I negate Resident Evil 4. I take it back. There's still plenty of games over here that weren't remakes. I didn't play it. I haven't played a Resident Evil 4 since the GameCube days. The last Resident Evil I played, right, was GameCube. Which number was that? That was 2002, 2003. What a crap system that was. Resident Evil. Resident Evil. Which one was this one? It's just called Resident Evil. 2002. Yeah, that's the last one I played. Great game. Great game. Oh, cool, Dabstick. Yeah, I'll what's it, this weekend? Does it come out on the 18th, right? Which is what, Friday? Friday or Saturday? Oh no, it comes out this weekend? The 15th? Friday. I might capture some footage, so I might be on this weekend playing it. Might. I gotta get stuff ready and stuff before I leave on my trip on Tuesday, so. GameCube was a weird system. They had Sunshine Mario on that one. I think Sunshine Mario was on that one. It was an interesting Mario. Not my favorite. I'll be honest, I don't even remember a lot of the games I had on there. Smash Brothers is one of them, but I can't remember a lot of the games I had. I can just name off the top of my head. I had a Mario game. I had a Metroid game. I had a Zelda game. I don't know. I don't even remember. It's probably one of my least favorite systems I've ever owned. Oh, Dabstick is saying the Starship Troopers. Travis, you asked me yesterday in Discord. It just hit me. You asked me yesterday because Wheezy asked me how I was loving BattleBit, and I said I'm loving it, having a lot of fun. And you said, am I having more fun or whatever than Starship Troopers, or is it different? It's the same and different, right? So I'm having a blast with Starship Troopers, but Starship Troopers, I think, is a little bit like nostalgia, but also it's a fun game. It's a good ground-based game for what it is. But I'm having fun just with the VoIP and also just playing PvE with a group of people. Where BattleBit, I love the VoIP that's happening in the game, but I'm having fun playing PvP, right? Both, I would say they're both similar in certain ways, but a lot of them are not the same. But I'm having just as much fun in Starship Troopers as I am in BattleBit Remastered. Best system is still Dreamcast. Dreamcast was ahead of its time, man. That's one thing that I can be angry at Sony about. Sony destroyed Sega. Sega Dreamcast was ahead of its time. Right? And as a gamer, I'm mad because the Sega Dreamcast was a better system back then. But they just got destroyed. To be honest, Sega killed themselves. Sure. I guess you could say that, Paul. They killed themselves with the help of Sony. That system was so good. That Dreamcast system was so good. Way ahead of its time for what it was. Right, exactly. Right. Sega killed themselves, but Sony held them, gave them the knife, and then yeah, Sega Dreamcast was a fantastic system. I remember the commercials. Remember the commercials that they had? That they would do all these like different games, and all of a sudden they would get spiraled in and then sucked into the Dreamcast logo. Yeah, but the Saturn came out 3 years before that, Paul. Everyone's tripping over some Microsoft deal with Blizzard. Did you talk about it already? Yeah, we went over like a speed bump. We read one article about it and we moved on with our day because we really truly don't care. We really truly don't care. Dreamcast. That came out in 98. Yeah. Because I just graduated. I just graduated high school in 97. By the way, Dreamcast is my favorite console. It's so good. They were so they had so many good games. One of my favorite games of all time, fighting games of all time, was on the Dreamcast, which was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Do I still have? I have a disc. I have a disc emulator. It's got like 1,200 games on Dreamcast of all the Nintendo games. There's so many good. My favorite football game was ESPN 2K on Dreamcast. This is literally here. This is what the graphics look like. Hold on. Which number was it? Was it ESPN 2K? ESPN 2K football in. That's 2005. That's different. Was it called 2K5? No, that's 2005. Was that the first? That's PlayStation. It was just called ESPN, I thought. Is that what it was? It was just called ESPN? I thought it was ESPN 2K. Here it is. Here it is. Oh no, that's not it. That's 2000. Was it Terrell Owens on the cover? I think that was it. This is 2K. This was Dreamcast. This is the only one I could find. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta make this. It's not HD, but the graphics and stuff on this were fantastic. Right? Madden football, okay, was so scared of this game from 2K, okay, on the Dreamcast, that they decided that they had to buy the complete rights, okay, because they were making leaps and strides more than what Madden was doing. 2K5, one of the best sports games ever. You're absolutely correct. Let's look at the graphics and what they did with 2K, right? ESPN 2K. This right here, one of the best football game. No, not one of the best. The best football game ever created. And what they did with the ESPN integration, with the replays and stuff, never done in any other game before that. This part of ESPN, right? You had first person mode. You could play. God, I remember this. You had your whole little thing. You had all your trophies and stuff that you had. Yeah, they were afraid. EA and Madden were like, we can't have other competition. We got to make sure we make no game and make it the same game every year for the next 2 decades. Yeah, it got known on Dreamcast, and then obviously PlayStation 2. It continued on to PlayStation 2. It was a fantastic game. Is this the history of it? The greatest NFL video game of all time. Yeah. I kind of want to listen to this. I want to listen to this. Do the history of this, huh? Let's do this.
5 is considered by many to be the greatest sports video game of all time. Released in 2004, just about 15 years ago, the last NFL game made by 2K has built a
oh wow, this video is like 5 years old.
Bulletproof legacy. As time goes on, NFL 2K5 remains king. In 2016, Time Magazine ranked 2K5 as the 41st best video game of all time. In 2014,
wow, of all time video games,
Polygon writer Owen Good referred to NFL 2K5 as sports video gaming's King Arthur, eternally populist, noble and heroic, champion of an age long ago. Developers of Madden, the only game with the rights to the NFL license, are haunted by 2K5. Some ridicule it. Each year Madden is compared to 2K5, and usually in a negative way, as Electronic Arts has...
sorry. I laugh because I hate Madden now. What EA did to Madden is what Disney has done to Star Wars for me.
Failed to make a game good enough to convincingly end the debate. ESPN NFL 2K5 cannot be ignored. It has become more than just a game, a movement, if you will. Since EA has signed the exclusive rights agreement with the NFL in 2005, the reputation of the final 2K NFL game has only grown stronger, while EA's has grown weaker. Visual Concepts created a masterpiece. 2K5 isn't revered so much simply because it was the final iteration of its series. The product was polished, deep, and created with more attention to detail and care for the sport it simulates than we may ever see again. As the gaming industry becomes more reliant on milking consumers for money and competitive online play becomes more popular than ever, simulation sports games are becoming a thing of the past. There will never be another ESPN NFL 2K5. The incredible craftsmanship Visual Concepts put into this game is evident immediately. The player is greeted by a familiar ESPN menu presentation.
I loved this part of the game, man. This part of the game was the best. You would do the halftime show, you would see highlights and see certain things. It felt so good.
With branding and music from the network. ESPN wasn't included just for advertising. It was included for immersion. This hyper-realistic presentation was the biggest selling point of 2K4, known as ESPN NFL Football. 2K5 perfected it. One of the most common talking points about this game is the ESPN halftime and post-game shows, as well as the weekly SportsCenter updates. The immersion and depth of these segments were so ahead of their time that EA's Madden has been unable to replicate them to this very day. The halftime...
Because they don't have to. Madden doesn't have to. They've got complacent. This is what happens when you buy stuff that you don't give a shit about.
Shows of modern Madden remain.
Did Madden fans win because Madden got the exclusive right to NFL? No, they lost. We lost as consumers, as gamers.
Unimpressive, and the game has nothing comparable to 2K's weekly wrap-up show. 2K5 was so intelligent that Chris Berman would mention a player spinning or bobbling a catch while commentating over the highlights. It was very obvious that those working on the game, from the executives to the developers, loved football with a passion and put their heart and soul into this game, which is something you wouldn't be able to say about the Madden series. It was 2004. Microsoft had canceled NFL Fever in an attempt to convince EA to put Madden 05 on Xbox Live. 989's NFL Game Day series was over, as well as Midway's NFL Blitz series.
Look at all the football games we had.
Sega, who owned 2K at the time, was the sole competitor to EA, and had been right on their heels in sales for years. In what was hailed as one of the greatest, most insidious guerrilla warfare moves in the history of video game competition, ESPN NFL 2K5 released for $19.99.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. The game sold for $20.
On July 20th, 2004. This was a month before Madden 2005, and $30 cheaper. The move reportedly scared the hell out of EA. The result of this ended up being more drastic than Sega would have anticipated, but at the time this was seen as a genius decision. Hardcore Madden fans were tempted to buy the cheaper alternative while they waited for the start of the NFL season as well as the new Madden, and it worked. The game outsold Madden 2005 on Xbox 938,000 copies to 770.
This is why Madden, EA was like, we gotta buy the NFL. We gotta buy the NFL.
4,000, and came close to Madden on PS2, selling 1.25 million copies to Madden's 1.9 million. The game received critical acclaim and was considered superior to EA's Madden 2005 at a lower price tag. The graphics were much more realistic and polished than Madden's. Players had accurate face scans. For example, Drew Brees had his birthmark on his face. This was overkill for a game on the PS2 Xbox era, but the visual concepts team
He had a birthmark on his face. I want to go back. Did he have that birthmark on his face in any Madden game?
truly cared about their product. They knew the only way they would stand a chance against EA would be by releasing the best football game ever. Player models, uniforms, all blew Madden 2005 away, and the game featured a lot more signature animations. Visual Concepts got actual NFL players in their studio for motion capture, something EA still doesn't do with Madden. Having Tom Brady and Brian Urlacher in the studio for their signature animations brought the game to life. Visually, the game was nothing like anyone had ever seen in a football video game. The game's depth was unrivaled. The 25th anniversary mode allowed players to relive classic moments in NFL history.
Oh, I love that too. That was a good mode too. Doing those individual modes and reliving certain things and putting yourself in that moment.
Not only was this mode crazy fun, but it taught most players some history. It was educational in a cool way. The historic teams were customizable and already had accurate ratings. The player names just had to be edited in. The franchise mode was incredible. The ability to pay players out of retirement has still not found its way to Madden. You could reline divisions and conferences, playoff stats were tracked, and the weekly training was crazy deep for those interested in a football manager type game. Users were given a set amount of time each week to choose activities that would help develop their players. Between all of that and the SportsCenter wrap-up shows at the end of each week, many consider the franchise mode of NFL 2K5 to be the most immersive ever. There was also first-person football, which was innovative and risky for its time. It added an entirely new way to play football video games. Love it or hate it, the feature added a new way to play the game that put into perspective just how difficult it was to be an NFL player when you don't have a full bird's-eye view of the field. The crib was what really set the game apart. For those who enjoy completing or 100%ing a game, the crib was a mode where you decorated a house with items you can unlock with points earned by playing the game. There were all sorts of different challenges, from player-specific ones such as scoring 2 pick sixes with Champ Bailey in one game, to franchise mode ones such as winning consecutive Super Bowls. There were also celebrities who would challenge you to games in the crib and talk trash with you during the game. You could use the points you earned to buy playable air hockey or paper football tables, as well as collect jerseys, bobbleheads, and other NFL memorabilia. All of this in a $20 game. Madden 2005 while a good game, and arguably the peak of the Madden series, didn't have all this. The biggest change from ESPN NFL Football, aka 2K4, was the VIP system. Everything you did in 2K5 was tracked, from how many times you selected a play, to how many times you went for it on 4th down, to how many times you ran the ball to the outside right of the field. Everything you did was saved to this tiny VIP profile, which you could then play against. That's right, you could play against an AI version of yourself.
Yeah.
Or you could share your VIP profile with your friends and play them when they weren't there.
That's right.
This feature was ahead of its time by probably 50 years. People now...
It's because they don't have to do it. They did it in this game to compete with Madden. And Madden's like, no, we'll just get the contract, and then we won't do anything. It'll be genius.
Nowadays like to complain about the CPU getting boring. Well, this was a great way to spice things up. Imagine downloading the VIP profile of the best player in the world and trying to find a way to beat them. Every NFL coach in the game also had their own custom VIP profile based on their real-world play calling and tendencies. Even the celebrities you play against in the crib had their own. Features like this are what set the game apart from the rest, and why this game is still so widely praised. The immersion during gameplay was phenomenal. It was the little things that set 2K apart. You could watch an instant replay at any time, even mid-play, compared to waiting on Madden for the play to finish, and then probably a few more seconds after that until you can actually click replay. Challenging plays gave you numerous options as to what...
I forgot. You could do the error, and you could also challenge plays. You could actually challenge plays in this game.
...to challenge, compared to Madden deciding that for you. The announcers were more accurate calling the game than Madden's and seemed to be more aware of different in-game occurrences, such as a kickoff going through the uprights, or a player doing crazy spin moves and jukes like Dante Hall. The referees threw flags onto the field. The chain gang would come and measure the spot of the ball if the play was ruled down close to the marker. Injured players would have teammates run over and call for help, while sideline reporter Susie Colbert broke the news. During quarter breaks, the game would showcase cheerleaders. Seriously, how can a company make a football game without cheerleaders? The immersion of the game was simply remarkable. Somehow, no game has ever come close to matching it. And then,
because there is no other game. There's no other game. You can't make a football game.
Then there's the gameplay. Easily the highlight of 2K5.
Oh.
The CPU
was
AI was
wide open
so well. You'd have linebackers point and recognize a protection change and move his position accordingly. The charge mechanic made the gameplay different than the rest of football games. You would hold down X or A to charge a meter, and then the player could either sprint, truck, spin, juke, or jump with an extra boost. Defenders could also use the charge before a tackle for a big hit. It was basically the hit stick in button form. Receivers could locate the ball in the air and change directions accordingly.
Triangle.
An issue that plagued Madden then, and still does today, is throwing trajectory. In 2K5, you could lob a pass over a defender to an open receiver, instead of worrying about throwing a pick to a linebacker with a 6-foot vertical. The highlight of the gameplay, however, was the running game. Following your block...
Oh, it felt so good to follow your run. Like, to follow your blockers, man.
Was a dream in this game, as linemen would pancake their first guy and then continue upfield and continue making blocks for the runner.
So good.
Players would always engage in plays where the guard pulls were executed exceptionally well. What really set this game apart were the players.
No, this is 2K5, Tiny. This is 2K5. 2K is on Dreamcast, which is a good game, but 2K5 was like the pinnacle of football games.
The ratings had a very large separation, with backup players being in the 40s and top players being up to 100 overall.
We went from talking about Dreamcast and then talking about 2K, and then what 2K did, we got into Madden and stuff.
Throwing to Randy Moss felt like you were throwing to Randy Moss. Brett Favre had a cannon, and you could tell. There was a difference between an Eddie George or a Tiki Barber. Shutdown corners shut down opposing receivers. You could replay any snap and focus on a player and watch a realistic simulation matchup between two players. The smoothness, the fluidity, and the overall feel of this game was and still is unrivaled. The game's soundtrack was very smooth, very mellow, and just very nice. I put a link in the description to a playlist of all the songs used in the game. Clean Living by RJD2, Knock Me Down Girl by Slicker, and Oceanic Lullaby by J Boogie are songs I still constantly listen to. For players new to American football video games, or even just the sport itself, the game offers a reference guide that educates players on every play, package formation, NFL lingo, trivia, and it also offers a game manual explaining strategies and how to play the game. EA ended up lowering the price of their game to $29.99 in an effort to keep up with 2K, but the following year, Madden 06 was back at full price, and there was no NFL 2K6. Not only did EA sign an exclusive rights deal with the NFL, but also with ESPN, one of the bigger selling points to all of Sega's sports games, and yet EA never even took advantage of this license in Madden.
Think about that. EA signed a deal with ESPN and then never ever did anything with it. Just out of spite. Just out of spite.
15 years later, Sega ended up selling the 2K name and the Visual Concepts studio to Take-Two Interactive for $24 million shortly after. It turns out that by lowering the price of their game to $19.99, Sega effectively killed off their own series, as the NFL was unhappy with the idea that their premium brand could be discounted, and that triggered their licensing talks with EA. Years later, 2K attempted to re-enter the football video game market with All Pro Football 2K8, a great game in its own right, but due to the lack of an NFL license, the game simply didn't sell well enough to warrant a sequel. Since 2007, 2K Football has been missing, and EA's Madden series has gotten more mediocre with each release, leaving football video games in a sad state. 2K5's legacy lives on, however, through modern technology and a devoted fan base. Every year, new rosters are released for the game on Operation Sports 4.
That's awesome. The fan base is still upgrading new rosters for the teams. That's awesome.
Forums. And through PS2 emulation on PC, the game can be rendered in 4K.
Holy shit. Wait a minute. I could play this with an emulator and upgrade it to 4K on my PC?
At a stable 60 frames per second, giving the game new life. While we may never see another 2K football game again, we will always have 2K5, and even today, the gameplay holds up. It may not look as pretty as Madden, but the foundation the game was built upon is much stronger. From the presentation, to ball trajectory, to offensive blocking AI, to defensive back play, to CPU recognition, to franchise mode depth and customizability, to immersion and innovation, ESPN NFL 2K5 is still the best football video game available, and there's a good chance it always will be.
Oh, I think that's a good video. That's a good video. If it isn't my like, Soft Drink TV. Soft Drink TV. I'm gonna put his in the description down below. I love doing it. Thanks, chat, for bringing up stuff, and we went down the rabbit hole, and then we found out about the history over here. Appreciate that. Let's see. Soft Drink TV. Dude, that's insane. That's insane, the fact that... Do you see how corporations... I mean, obviously, it's a different because it's contracts over buying a company. But do you see how a company buying other things out... Again, business and war. There's no fair game. EA said, screw you, Sega. Not only are we buying the NFL brand, but we're also buying ESPN. And then never doing anything with ESPN. Just because of this desperate for a football game. Boss, do yourself a favor. Go download this for your emulator and play the upgraded roster at 4K on your PC. In the world of NFL, you have no other games to choose from. No, there's a football game coming out. We posted in our Discord the other day. I think where did you post that, Water? Water posted a football game the other day. It's like an NFL Blitz type of thing. forget where it was. But there is football games coming out, but it's nowhere close. Nowhere close to what it is. Because they signed a deal where you can't make another simulator football game like Madden. Madden has a monopoly on football. They don't have a monopoly on football. You can still make a football game. You just can't make an NFL football game. So it's not considered a monopoly because it's contract. They had a contract of a decade, and then once they made the end of the decade, they could sign an additional like 3 to 5 years. So technically, I think the contract ends this year. This year? Let me see. When does... NFL agreed to extend Madden video game through 2026. This was back in 2020. So they extended it to 2026. So not only they've had it for 21 years. 21 years they've had a contract. Imagine XFL 2K. Did XFL do very good this year? I don't know. I'm asking. I know there's a lot of football, but a lot of them don't build up. NFL is a huge brand. You know what I mean? And then they could deal with the NCAA and the NIL players. Well, not Madden. Sorry, EA is doing an NCAA game next year. Sort of like look at MLB The Show, right? They're contracted to have baseball, right? Is there any other baseball games? Right? Is there any other Major League Baseball games like that are licensed by MLB? I don't think there is, right? I think it's just MLB, right? There used to be tons of baseball games, and they all had MLB like players inside there, but now it's MLB The Show. That's it. They lost millions, but it's one of those Rome wasn't built in a day thing. Well, so the reason we got into this whole thing was that Sega had the Dreamcast and PlayStation killed Sega, but Sega basically not only killed off their own system, but they also killed off their football game because they went for such a big price drop to compete with Madden that they put themselves basically out of business with 2K5. Okay? They made the greatest football game of all time, and then they went belly up, which they could have made it if Madden didn't sign NFL deal, right? I think they could have survived because they made a great game, and then people would have came back the next year, even if they raised it to $40, right? It was crazy. I totally forgot it was $20. I think another 3 or more years after losing more money, the XFL will pick up. I hope so. I mean, it failed. Isn't this the third time? It left, it came back, and then it left and came back again for a third time, which is now The Rock owns it. That was like the Xbox. We didn't get the show games. We had nothing for baseball besides terrible arcade games. Right? There's actually a really good baseball game that's not Major League Baseball. It was called, the hell was it? The hell is it? Super Mega Baseball. Super Mega Baseball 1, 2, and 3 was good baseball games. They were arcade style baseball games, but they're good baseball games. Well, now the fourth one just came out. Well, guess who bought them last year or 2 years ago? Dun, dun, dun. That's right. EA. EA purchased Super Mega Baseball. Not only did they buy Super Mega Baseball, but they took stuff out of the game. So in Super Mega Baseball 1, 2, and 3, you could customize your teams and import them over from one game to the next, right? So if you spent hundreds of hours creating different logos and different things inside that game, that you could just move it on over to the next Super Mega Baseball game. EA bought it and said, I'm sorry, there is no import system. You can't do that. They took features out of the game. Yes, they added different features, but they took... So Super Mega Baseball 1 to 2, upgrade. Super Mega 2 to 3, upgrade. Super Mega 4, upgraded features, but also take stuff out that was in the other 3 games. Good Lord. Are we still on football? We'll talk about longer with more passion than the actual players. Travis, I know you're joking, but we constantly talk about lots of different things that you're not interested in. 2K5 is worth about the same today. It was a brand new 2005. Yeah. Friendly reminder, this is the last month of no football. It'd be interesting to see what happens in this football season with all the different trades and stuff. It'd be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers does as a Jet. Just amazing to me how when a company buys out something and people keep supporting it, they keep supporting it because they and not said, but what Boss said, right? He's hungry for a football game, right? He's hungry for a football game, so he'll just get it. And I think that's what most people do. They're just like, I want to play a football game. There's no other football games out there, so they just buy Madden. So they don't have to do anything. Madden doesn't have to do anything. Year after year, they just make the same, if not less, version of the same game. They don't have to do anything. 20 years. 20 years. They've had a chokehold on the NFL and the gamers. That's saying a lot, Kylo. The internet's filled with them. They know this. This is why the same piece of shit, the same cinematics, intros, everything is exactly the same. Yeah, so much so, boss, that they literally use the same stadiums. They don't even change the banners. So when they say Madden 2019 and you play 2021, it'll still say Madden 2019 in the stadium signs and whatnot. Right? Have you ever watched the Angry Joe's reviews of Madden? It's fantastic. You'll laugh your ass off and then cry because it's true. They don't do anything. It's beyond lazy. Yeah, it's beyond lazy. It's a downright crime. It is. It's a crime. Sad thing, though, it's just not Madden. It's becoming common in the gaming industry. Yes and no. It's becoming a thing with certain brands. Unfortunately, the NFL is like an IP of Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, right? NFL Madden is that brand. Madden's so frustrating, man. The last one I bought was, I think we looked at it, it was like 2012. And the only reason I bought it was because it came free with my NFL ticket. That was the only reason I got it. It came with it. My wife's like, we got the NFL ticket, and they gave us Madden. I was like, okay, cool. It's so frustrating. And you guys are going to eat it up. NCAA football coming out next year. I know you guys are gonna pick it up because you're same shit, different different street. NCAA football, everyone's going to be so hungry for the nostalgia of playing an NCAA football game, and Madden's going to bank on it. And this is exactly what they're doing. They're looking at it going, well, Madden sales are down because of blah, blah, blah. It's the same game every year. You know what we could do? Let's just make the same game and make it an NCAA game. Prosy says, can't wait. Everyone's going to buy it. Right? And that's not a dig on you guys buying it. It's a dig on them. They know that people don't give a shit. They're going to be like, they just want NCAA. They're just going to copy paste the Madden that you're playing now that you don't like and put it in NCAA with the NCAA games and the stadiums, and everyone's going to be like, this is the greatest thing ever. You can say the same thing with COD or Battlefield. It's a little different. It's a little different with that, Travis. You could say that, you could say that it's lazy, but it's different because it's not the same as the IP. Like NFL is different than Call of Duty. NFL is different than the Battlefield IP, right? But I get what you're saying as far as it's the same type of game over and over. To me, Battlefield 5, or V, whatever you want to call it, had the potential of being the best Battlefield game, but they fall short because they stopped working on it. A little different means the same? No. No. NCAA 14 is like a $120+ physical game now? Really? I used to love... Let's see if they put this feature back into NCAA next year, right? How many of you remember the rumble effect when you were playing in a home stadium? Okay? And you would do this with the quarterback inside NCAA, and the stadium would rock, right? Who remembers that? You think they're going to put that in the NCAA game? Yeah, the crowd meter got so loud, right? You think they're going to put that in the NCAA game? I don't know. I don't know. It would get wrecked, right? Look, I played. When I tell you I've played, and Sarge could probably back me up on this. I played every sports game. I was a sports fanatic. I love sports, right? I could start a whole channel about sports and talked about sports. We're talking like old back in the days before I was even born. My dad taught me so much about old baseball, okay, of the history of baseball. Okay, I could literally have a sports channel. I love sports. When my son was born, right? So for the last 8 years of my life, I haven't really watched a lot of sports currently, but I love sports. I had 4 controller ports. I would play Dynasty mode. Each controller, certain positions on the hardest mode. It was so fun. That'd be interesting. See, I knew this channel was gaming featuring sports. Tiger Woods game was nuts. I love the Tiger Woods game. There was a time when I played Prosy that I wanted to see. This is before gaming got to like MLG, like pro stuff. I said in a long time ago, I said to my friends, I was like, I can see a future where people are playing video games, like sports video games, professionally. Like there's professional golfers and there'll be professional virtual golfers. Tiger Woods was crazy back in the day. How's it the only good sports game nowadays is MLB The Show? Well, I'll be honest with you. MLB The Show, we played the last 3 seasons on Xbox since it came on Xbox, right? Because before it was on PlayStation. I owned it on PlayStation. But it has come pretty stale. They haven't really made a lot of changes. If you go to the forums and stuff for MLB The Show, it's still a great game. But they haven't really changed much. It's hard to change a game that is the same. Baseball's the same game. But they don't take features out, at least that I can tell, in the last 3 years. All the features that were 3 years ago fundamentally in the game. Here's a feature I don't understand why they don't put in baseball games anymore. Okay? I can never move my baseball player in the box. Right? To like hug the plate. There's a whole different dynamic in baseball when you crowd the plate or don't crowd the plate. The pitcher pitches differently to you. You can't do that in any baseball game in like 2 decades. Still play Mega Baseball? Dabstick, I created every single team in Super Mega Baseball. Every single team. Created custom logo and I had a movie division, I had a gaming console division, I had a conglomerate. I made Apple and Google and PlayStation and Xbox and Coke, and I made all of these teams. I had my own league in Super Mega Baseball. Like really good ones too. Let's see if I don't know if I have it. Let me see if I can turn it on and like I went in and did all the work. And I was gonna buy Super Mega Baseball 4 until they told me I couldn't import my stuff. And I'm like, I'm not making all that stuff again. How just happened? Why did that change? Let me see here. Super Mega Baseball 3. I got to install it for a second. Still have all my stuff. It should anyway. All right, Travis, have a good one. I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be a good movie. I mean, it's Nolan, isn't it? Nolan makes really good movies, and I think, I mean, it's a history piece based on the maker of the atom bomb. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty dark. I think it's going to be a pretty dark film. I mean, it's like Titanic. You know, at the end of the Titanic sinks. So you know, at the end of this, the atom bomb goes off. Dapsick says, I feel like sports games is lacking a real good tennis and good golf. Doesn't need to be realistic, just needs to be good. There's a couple of good golf games. We played PGA golf. We've played Tiger Woods golf. We've played McIlroy's golf. There's a lot of good golf games. I've even played the golf superstars or something like that, which is actually a pretty fun golf. We played for the longest time without Tiger Woods on the cover. We played Rory McIlroy and we played PGA 2K. Those are both really good golf games. Tennis games, I haven't played a good tennis game in a while, but I do know there is a good tennis game out there. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. I remember seeing it. Mario Tennis was good. It was good. I don't know if it's still good. Do they have a tennis game for the Switch? Or table tennis? Let me see. Hold on one second. Oh, that's wrong one. I don't know if it's going to let me show you my... Oh, do they not? Oh yeah, here we go. I got them. Right? I literally made all the logos and teams for each of these things, right? So there's Xbox. There's YouTube. That's a team. Amazon. Right? And you customize all the logos and stuff and all the teams. Right? There's Apple. There's Atari. There's Bungie. Right? I made Back to the Future. I made certain things for different divisions. That's Nintendo. That's not one. There's CBS. Right? CBS. There's Coca-Cola. There's Walt Disney World. There's my team. There's EA Games. There's Facebook, which is now called Meta, I guess, huh? There's Google. There's the Goonies, which is the team that we were, and we had members when we were on Twitch. All the players would be people on that were in my chat. There's HBO Max, which is now called Max. There's the History Channel. There's Hulu. We got NBC. We got Netflix. We got the old school Pepsi. We got old school PlayStation. We got Prime Video. That's not fun. We got Red Bulls. We got Rockstar. We got Sega. We got Star Wars. Right, we got Starbucks. I like that. I like that logo. They didn't have a mermaid like what I wanted, so we made it this way instead. Right, we got Streamlabs, which is the software we use to to stream. We got the CW. This is The Godfathers. Jesse Mack asked me, have I ever watched the Godfather films? I literally made the logo in a baseball game. And then there's Twitch. Right? And then if you click on them, right? I literally edited the roster where I made certain characters on the team. I believe the guy in the bottom right here is these are Twitch streamers. These are Twitch streamers. Okay, I believe this guy right here with the glasses in the front is Dr. Disrespect at the time. This is years ago when I did this. Right? So these are actually look like streamers. Not all of them, but most of them. So if you go, what do I have to do? Like I created all the teams with all the logos and what their things look like to thematic wise inside of the thing, right? So if you go to Starbucks, they don't have this in the new game because, well, because they don't want you. EA doesn't want you to do this stuff, right? EA doesn't want you to do this stuff. Right? This is the Star Wars team. And I had a blast making these things, you know. Some of the outfits and stuff for the team. Like I thematically made the teams look like the logos and stuff. I love the customization that you can do in a game like this, but the new one you can't import it, and I don't want to do it all again. I don't even know if you can do the stuff that you want in the new one. But I seriously thematic, made it all thematic. It was fun. It was fun to do. This is our team. This is the Goonies. I forget which one I am. Oh no, I'm on that one. We're on. Did I do this one? I don't think I did this one. No, I didn't do that one. I was in the process of making it. But yeah, just wanted to show you that. There's a customization, what you could do in this game and then import it every year. So I worked on this over 3 games. This wasn't just done in Super Mega Baseball 3, right? I worked on them in 2 over the years, and it is a lot of time inside of them. But now Super Mega Baseball 4 is out, but EA owns them. Now Metalhead responds to them, and you can't import. You can't import the stuff, which sucks. Which automatically stopped me from buying it. I wanted to buy it. So, all right. Well, that'll do it on today's show. We talked about the trial. We talked about Diablo talking about rebirth characters or articles that they did say there was going to be a rebirth character, but then articles came out a month later saying there might be rebirth characters. Not that it matters because rebirth characters are stupid anyway in Diablo. We talked about the Microsoft acquisition. We talked about Sega Dreamcast. We talked about we went down the rabbit hole with Sega Dreamcast into 2K Sports, which went into Madden Football, which went into we talked about video games and whatnot. We had a lot of good conversations this morning. I do appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us. If you like it, please hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button And above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Not sure what we're playing. We might play some Division with Sarge tonight because I think the reset update happened for it. So we might go back and play and complete that this week. If not, we'll jump into something tonight. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.